All right, hello and welcome everybody. It's morning of Tuesday, end of January 2024. I have the pleasure, the honor to speak with one of my long-term friends, Mario, after going through so many other candidates really to partner up to get this project we started at the Morgan Gilany group to the next level. I have some other partners. Those of you who watch this on video on YouTube, I want you to take pen and paper and take some notes from Mario because I know Mario personally. We have worked together. Welcome, Mario.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here. Nice to be chatting.
So, Mario, we've been on search of helping people in leadership. What do you think leadership starts with, or where do we start leadership? Why is it
So,
so important? Let me simplify. Why is leadership so important today?
because I'll tell you the truth. I'll answer even your first question because it's a really good one, and then I'll answer that one. People think leadership starts when you get a title. And I think that's the biggest mistake because most people never reach that title unless they learn how to self-lead. The first thing that you have to understand when it comes to leadership is, can you lead yourself? Because if you can't lead yourself, you're going to really struggle leading other people. And we live in a world right now that's so fast paced. Everything's social media, everything's go, 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 that proper guidance and support and leadership is important. The challenge is people think because they have a title or people think because they took a weekend course to be a coach that they're able to lead people. I have a grade 10 education. I've never taken a course on leadership, but I've worked with people for 20 years. And there's no better way to learn about leadership than dealing with people on a daily basis, studying the material, understanding how people work. So when it comes to leadership, you have to understand a couple things. The first step, you have to find somebody who has a track record. Leadership is more about the words. You have to find somebody who's actually gone the path, had success in the areas that you want to learn and grow in. That's what's important about leadership, because what people don't talk about when it comes to leadership, to be a great leader, you have to be a great follower. And if you don't know how to follow, you'll never know how to lead. And most people, their ego doesn't allow them to follow. I run into this challenge with my own managers. Sometimes I have to cut my own managers off because they're not ready to be a follower. And so I'm going to share with you guys a really quick story that is really important when it comes to that sentence right there. And it's about a very famous monk who lived in the mountains, very wise, very old, very experienced. And he got word that there was a young monk kind of going from town to town, outsmarting everyone, far beyond his years, really intelligent at such a young age. Finally, he made such a noise, this young monk, that the older monk called him for a meeting. He walks in, he sits down, shakes his hand, says, "I'm honored to meet you," and starts talking about all his accomplishments, all the things that he's done, all the things that he can do. The old man is just sitting there listening, taking it all in. He grabs a pot of tea and starts filling up the young man's cup. Filling it as the young guy's talking and bragging and talking and bragging. The cup starts to overflow and falls on the young guy's lap. He gets up screaming, "You old man, you poured tea all over me. What are you doing?" The old man looked at him and said, "Your cup is full. You can leave. There's nothing I can do for you." And to me, leadership is all about being able to have an open to accept information. And most people think that they know everything. And when you know everything, I promise you, that's when your learning stops. And that's when you have to understand that you're now putting a wall on yourself. If people if people only focused on titles, nothing exciting would be done in this world. Did you know that in Nintendo, the first Game Boy was created by the janitor at Nintendo? It wasn't created by a CEO or a marketer. It was the janitor who worked nights and knocked on the CEO's door saying, "I have to bring my son to work with me at night because his mom also works nights. I just want something for him to do. Do you have anything that's portable that he can play?" And the CEO of Nintendo went to work with his developers and created Game Boy. And
Wow.
now that janitor
Oh, that's so
owns stocks and he's a millionaire. Right?
that's
Wow.
So
great.
little things like that. So leadership, guys, is all about no ego. It's about taking in information and emptying your cup so you can keep absorbing more. You can learn from a brand new person just as much as you can learn from an experienced person. You can't be closed off to that. So that's just my little, you know, thoughts around
Great,
leadership.
great analogies, Mario. Leadership has always interested me. That's why I joined some of the companies priorly. And you, as you mentioned, you have to have a track record to show your capacity to lead people, to hold their hand, to feel their pain, all of these things. And I believe personally, leadership starts with education.
Yeah.
Education breeds confidence, and confidence breeds hope, and hope breeds peace of mind and taking the first step forward. So I'm really excited about this partnership. Tell us about your career, Mario. Where did you grow up? What did you do? How many jobs did you switch before you found your passion where you
Yeah,
really?
yeah. So I was grateful enough to have my story published in two different books. But how my story started was pretty normal, like any other kid. I used to play around. We grew up in the 80s where there wasn't a lot of, there was no Netflix, very little TV. We're actually outside playing all the time. And one time I was playing hockey and I took a hit just joking around. And I came inside and I started feeling a lot of pain and I didn't know what it was. And I went to go kind of reach for my mom because I was feeling like dizzy. I passed out. Next thing I know, I wake up in a hospital. I had major surgery for a kidney issue that I didn't even know I had. But that hit, uh, because it made me dizzy, they brought me to the hospital and then they discovered the kidney issue, or else I could have died. I had no idea. And
Wow.
so I ended up spending 4 years in Sick Kids Hospital. And so the thing is, prior to that, I always wanted to be in business. My dad was a business owner, not a wildly successful one, but he owned a construction company. He did okay for himself. And he taught me a lot of these lessons. And the first lesson that my dad taught me was the value of money and supply and demand. And I remember being a little kid, and my friends were going on a trip, and all I wanted was to go on this trip, and it cost $20. Now, when you come from immigrant parents, $20 is like $20 million. Even if it wasn't, trust me, they make it feel like it is. And I remember asking my dad for $20, and he's like, "No, I can't give you $20. You got to do this." And I begged him. I'm like, "I'll work for it. I'll clean. I'll help mom. I'll do the garbage, the grass." And he's like, "No." He goes into his pocket and he pulls out $100 and he gives it to me. And we lived in a small town, and he said, "Go to the store, grab drinks and freezies, all the things your friends likes, and come back. Go with your mom to the store and get it." I went to the store, I came back, he put everything in a cooler, some ice, dropped me off at the park with a little sign that said cool treats for $1, and he left. And I sat there, 10 years old, sitting on a cooler, holding a sign that said treats for $1, and people would give me money. I remember coming back, my dad coming back like an hour or two later, and I had like almost $300 because they were playing baseball. There was all these kids, and I was freaking out. It's the most money I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, Dad, I made $300. He took 280 and gave me 20 back. And I learned something very important that day in business. You only ever get what you ask for. And that was a very important lesson for me. And then when I got sick, I kind of lost that a little bit. And so when I got out of the hospital, I didn't know what to do. I just felt like a different person. And I actually went to go live on the streets. I was homeless for a little bit. I was a little lost. And then I met somebody while I was kind of couch to couch, house to house, just all over the place. And he was a chef. And he worked in restaurants, and I started getting obsessed with that industry and wanting to learn more about it. And it was very interesting to me. And I ended up becoming a chef. I ended up opening up a catering company when I was 20. It became very successful, but I knew nothing about money. And so I failed my business because I didn't pay taxes. So CRA became my business partner, which you don't want. And I owned a lot of money, and I was very confused and lost. I was a young kid. And then a friend of mine who worked at financial services, same company that Arif was at, said, "Why don't you come work with me for a summer, learn about money so you won't be so ignorant the next time that you get into business." And then that summer turned into, this is my 18th year.
Wow.
I've been in different companies. I've worked in corporate and finance. I've worked in every single area of leadership. And now I run an agency with 100 plus agents, and we're across Canada and North America and right now. So we're in 5 states in the US, every province in Canada except Quebec. And we're growing and thriving every single day. But it's been a hell of a ride. I remember being a little kid in the crowd listening to Arif talk at big events, and I just said I just want to talk one day. I want to be up there one day. And it's
Thank
very
you,
cool to be
Mary.
working with you now, almost 20 years later.
Thank you very much. It's a
That's a
great
great
opportunity.
story.
This partnership that we have is very unique. I'm really excited. Our team is very excited to have you on board. And I am deciding to get even my license back, actually. We're going back into the fundamentals. Leadership starts with fundamentals, and there's no more valuable or important topic than the topic of money. You've heard about people who make fast money, just like you did. In that $300, or you make fast money in your company, you don't have your measures and systems in place. Becomes a problem where you go nosedive, and many, I dare to say 80-90% of people don't recover from nosedive. Because when we're
Yeah.
younger, we have a lot of energy to go for our goals and dreams and do whatever it is that is required. Does that make
Yep.
sense, Mario?
Yep, 100%. And I love that. I think that's amazing. I think that we're all in alignment for that is very important.
That's the mission. When we got together, we formed this, what we call, my colleague is here, Shanta, and Kumar, and our other colleague Johan. We get together and we say, how do we take this message? Is there people who want to hear the truth? Going back to financial services, I know your record, Mario. Let's talk a little bit about leadership in the financial services arena, because you and I have been parts of different companies, and I do really like the leadership in your company.
Yeah. Leadership to me was taught in a very unique way. So I came up in this business very naive, very young. I was in my early 20s. I had never really worked for leaders. I worked for chefs, and chefs just, they don't teach you anything. Everything's caught. You just watch what I do and duplicate it. They don't really teach you much. And a lot of chefs I work with, worked way too many hours, had bad marriages, weren't really happy. So it was not a great role model or example to follow. So when I got into business, being very young, I'd never seen anybody talk about success and money and, be on a stage and just move a whole crowd. It was very unique to me. So I was very drawn to certain leaders. And the leaders that I built a relationship at my first company with, I idolized them. They were gods to me. It was just everything I wanted to be was them. And then when they left that company, I decided to leave that company. And I was a nobody at that company. I made no money. I was just very young and inexperienced. And when they went to another company, they called me to come there. And that was a big moment for me because I didn't even think they really knew who I was. I was just a nobody, but oh my God, what an honor. And I got to work with these individuals, but on a different level. I got to see who they were as people. And that saying, I hope you never meet your idols. It was like finding out Santa Claus didn't exist twice. It was people that I admired my whole life, and I found out that they were some of the worst people on earth. The way they treated women, the way they treated people, the way they lied, cheated, and steal, the way they built their business. It taught me everything that I don't want to be. And I watched other people that were good people that were led by them turn down a path of just destruction. And it's like that old saying, there's two sons and a father who's an alcoholic. One son is an alcoholic because his father's an alcoholic. The other son won't touch liquor because his father's an alcoholic. And I think you have two choices you can make when you're faced with bad leadership is you can either learn how to be a bad leader, or you can learn everything that it takes to be a good leader by all the things that you were denied. And so I followed these individuals for 12 years. I had no idea. They kept showing up in my life, and I was scared to break away from that. And it wasn't until I finally did that I took the leap to come to this company, separated myself from them for the first time ever in my career, that I saw a whole new side to leadership of people that actually care about you, whether you're winning or not. Whether you're having a good week or a bad week, a bad month, a good month, they showed respect. They cared about my family. When my dad passed, they all showed up. When we're having a bad time in our personal lives, the people that brought me in, they show up at my house and they spend time with us and they have wine and they hang out. And I learned more about leadership in the last 2 years than I ever did in my entire career. And it's so important to be around the right people. But The opposite is also true. I see people that are led by these amazing leaders that aren't coachable, don't follow a system, don't listen to a word they say, and there's always going to be the opposite. You just have to trust your gut that the person you're following is in alignment with your morals and they're doing the right thing and they care about you. And don't focus on words, focus on actions. And so when I'm at this company, it's all action. It's all the way they take care of me, the way they care. The CEO's still involved. The executives are all involved. It's a really, really, really dynamic place to work.
Wonderful. I am so excited to join forces with you. Shanta, you want to jump in here and ask Mario anything specific? Because I want to drill down now, go to somebody who's out there in the streets of Toronto who wants to get a license. You have a couple of people who make over $100,000.
Me?
Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Tell
I
us
have
about these young people. Tell us
yeah,
some
so
stories that I can inspire some young people to reach out, because we have taken out, Mario, every single excuse that somebody can have to start their own business. You give me
so
any excuse in the world and I will overcome it right now.
yeah, so I'll give you three stories. All three of these individuals are under 29 years of age.
Okay.
The first one, her name is Vanessa. Vanessa got started with me. She was a bartender. She was pregnant with her third child, so she had three babies under 5 years old at home. At 27 years old, okay? Her husband worked construction almost 100 hours a week and sometimes side jobs or snow plowing on the weekend. So he was always working. And COVID hit, so her restaurant shut down. She had to find another job. We talked to her. She was actually a waitress at our restaurant. We talked to her and she said, I'm probably leaving here. I'm pregnant now with COVID. It's very difficult. And we had a great conversation. I gave her my business card. She ended up calling me a few weeks later. She got started with us. And this is somebody, again, taking care of three babies at home, studying for a licensing exam. It took her 5 months to pass the exam because of kids and stress and all this stuff. But her very first year, she made $75,000 in less than 7 months. And that to me was a big deal. Yeah, buddy.
Let me stop right there. Tell me a university that you can go and graduate and come out the first year and make 75,000. Is there such a university in Toronto, in Canada, anywhere?
Tell me a university that you can graduate. Even better, Arif. Tell me a university you can graduate where you can find the job that you studied for.
70% of graduates work in a different field.
It's nuts.
So go to the second example. I'm really interested in these.
So the second example is a young lady. Her name is Brianna Wright. Brianna worked at a supplement store. She's 23 years old when she got started with us. And she was their top salesperson. She sold $1 million of supplements a year, which was 400,000 over her quota. And all she got was a $4,000 bonus for that. And they held it for 4 months. They wouldn't pay her. And so she ended up coming to work with us. Her very first 3 months, 2.5 months, she did over 30,000 of insurance premium, became the youngest and fastest senior manager in the company's history. Then she ran into licensing issues and it took her 8 months to get her license because of the government and stuff. Nothing to do with our company. It was all issues with FISRA at the time. And she still made $40,000 her first year. She still was the top senior manager in every single category. And now she's coming out the gate this year and just on fire. This month alone, she's made already $7,000.
Wow.
And the last example is a young girl named Maya. Maya got in the industry at 18 years old with a company, different company under different leadership. And she was told by that leadership that she was too young to be successful in this industry. No one's going to take a young blonde girl seriously. If she's doing a Zoom meeting, make sure her camera's off. She's too pretty and people are not going to look at her the same. Men are not going to respect her. She has to speak like a man and act like a man to make it.
Oh my God.
7 months there, she never made one single dollar. She got started with us at 19 years old. I started working with her and teaching her. At 20 years old, she became the youngest senior manager at the time. At later that year, she became the youngest executive director in the company's history. And then last year, she was the youngest person to make $100,000. She now makes $120,000 at 21 years old. So we have a lot of stories.
So we can't wait to hear and blend all of these stories, bring them out to the public. But I have a specific question. How does the sales career impact the development of somebody's leadership? Do you think you've learned something from sitting with all of these leaders, sales specifically? Because people don't like sales. We're all in
Yeah.
sales. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about the relationship between sales and leadership.
Sales, guys, is nothing more than relationships and trust. A lot of sales that you see online, it's going to be people that are just, it's very Americanized. And I don't want to say that to take down Americans, but it's very like pushy. And that's what people assume that the financial industry is. Guys, I've never had to push a sale in my life. Guys, value is value. And if you can show somebody how to save money in times of stress like this, if you could show people how to guide people to make better financial decisions, if you could be somebody that they're impacted by, guys, leadership is not just with your agents and your organization. Leadership is with your clients. Leadership is with the people around you. And when you build trust and confidence in people, they're going to, follow what you say. You just have to make sure you have integrity and you're leading them into the right direction. Not a lot of people do. There's a difference between mentorship and manipulation. And so you have to make sure you know the difference.
Uh,
And so a mentorship is very important to me. So I mentor my clients, I mentor my agents, and that's why we sell so much as an organization, because the trust and the relationships that we build, the way we teach our agents, it's not to sell. It's not to bash other companies. It's not to do any of that stuff. It's to do what's right for the client, make them feel like the most important person in the world.
Amazing, incredible. I don't know if there's any better value that I can bring to our community, to our company than this, but they say educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And that's not what I said. It's Aristotle. He says, educate the heart. We have an open door policy and we hold our partners accountable to their words. It's been a hell to find the right people to blend in, to feel like we are one army going in the same direction, which is serving our communities, our clientele, our teams. Does
Yep,
that make
exactly.
sense, Mario?
100% it does. I love that.
It
Yeah,
says
I
that
think
whoever dares to teach will never stop learning. We're on this journey of personal development, of leadership. Any final thoughts for people in Toronto? We have events coming up together. We're going to put you on the stage. We're going to be pitching in to enlighten people. What's your message right now? It's January. 1 month is gone. People who have written goals already forgot.
Oh
75%
yeah.
have forgotten them. What's your message to the people in Toronto and GTA and Canada and North America, as a matter of fact?
So yeah, goals, guys, I almost don't set goals anymore. We talk about systems in my organization because whenever I say, what's a goal you have, people think they have to say a goal that I want to hear. So they say these big goals that are just outrageous and they think I'm going to be like, wow, I'm so impressed by your goals. And then what happens is you realize, okay, I don't think I can do this. And you start getting like self-doubt and worried and fear and all this stuff. And then the goal starts to slip away and then you don't talk about it and it kills your confidence. So what we talk a lot about is systems. But if I had to give one message to people around that are listening right now, it's my quote. It's my personal quote and it's a very impactful one. The real cost of success is not dollars, it's change. And if people can understand that you cannot buy your way to happiness, you cannot buy your way to success, you have to change your way to those things, I think a lot more people are going to be happier. Because when you say, I'm good enough, you're not. I hate to break it to you. Let your mom tell you you're good enough. The real world is going to have to understand it's going to require something from you. It's going to require you to grow and change. So people around are like, oh, accept me for me, love me for me. Guys, I'm not going to do that. Because it's not about loving you for you. Because if you're playing small, if you're playing at your lowest, if you're not giving it your best and you're using that term as an excuse to stay the same, I can't respect that. And I know you're not going to reach the level that you want to get to. If I actually cared about you, I would push you out of being who you are.
Wow.
Don't be around people that allow you to stay the same. And I think too many people surround ourselves with people that allow us to stay comfortable, allow us to be who we are, allow us to stay the same, because they're scared if we grow, they're forced to have to. And so it's crabs in a bucket. You try to climb out of the bucket, somebody's going to claw you back down. I want to surround myself with people that make me uncomfortable. I want to surround myself with people that make my commission in they pay their taxes or my commission. I want to be around people that make me feel like I'm not even close to where I want to be yet because I can't grow unless I see that. If I'm only around people that are below me or around the same as me, I'm going to stay that way. And it's going to be comfortable and easy. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's who you are and that's what you want, but it's just not who I am. And if you're going to be around me, I got to either elevate you or we're not going to fit together. And that's how it works with me. Now, I'm not going to make you to a point that you're going to, hate working with me. Trust me, I'm not a mean guy, but I'm going to elevate you. I'm going to push you up. You're not good enough. So you got to push towards that. And it's okay to start thinking that way. I was not good enough. I was a homeless cook. You think I should be successful right now? Not even close. Not even close. If I stayed who I was and stuck around the same people who I was, I'd be no further ahead than any of them right now. They're all doing the same thing. Every single one of the people that I left is doing the same thing.
Right.
We all have these past stories, Mario. I'm really excited about you talking about systems and skills. We're going to teach them the skills to stay in the systems that are going to make them prosper. That's simple as that. And we're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're not going to lie to people, even if they don't like it. They say that the person who tells the truth is the most hated person in the world. Well, I don't mind being that person because I hate to tell people lies. One of them is the insurance policy that I sold to my mother-in-law, who's 75, who's expired that 25-year term that I give her, and now has absolutely no money, lost all her premium, versus someone who I met yesterday, Brian, who put it into another policy. February,
Wow.
he's getting back $220,000 of premium back.
That's wild. I love this industry. Love it.
Shanta,
I
you
love
have
it.
anything to say, my dear? We're closing this up. I want to keep this short for our audiences so they can really hear. I hope everybody replays Mario once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. Guys, when I listen to something, I go deep in it. When I
And
start a company, I go deep in it. I don't joke
Yeah.
around. I value Mario's time. Thank you. Yes, Shanta.
oh, absolutely value his time. This is why I discussed Mario with you guys, and I told you how impressed I am by this guy. He empowers people, and he is in the same mindset as we are in educating. Actually, I learned so much from Mario since I've met him. It's been a short while, but I can tell you, Mario's like those teachers that you have in school where you don't like them being tough with you, or you dislike them for, as you say, telling the truth. But I'll tell you, at the end, when you graduate, those are the teachers that you love the most. Those are the teachers that you remember the most throughout your life. And I'll tell you, Mario is one of those profound people. His messages are always profound. His teachings are great. He's impacted my son, Tyler, and he's impacted Tyler in such a positive way, looking at life differently, thinking about life, thinking about his financials, thinking about his life insurance. He doesn't have a family, but he's already thinking, I've got to protect my family. I'm telling you, what Mario brings to the table and to each and every one of us is positivity. It's how to enhance our life, how to make it better. He's teaching us the skills that we need to know, living our financial life. He's not just teaching about having protection for your family or yourself or insurance. He's teaching beyond that. Oh, there's this dog.
Sorry.
That's
Hey,
okay.
it's good to live the life and have your dog run around while you're making money. Yes.
Yeah. So for Mario, it's so impactful what he's teaching, and we need to bring this into our community. We need to have him join us in our seminars to educate, because Arif, we're big on education. I say it every time we have a seminar, that it's not about just helping you and showing you the way with your finance. It's educating you, which is something we never got from high school. And we went into college and university, and what did we do? We went into debt, right? So it's about educating right from a young age, into your throughout the decades into your life. It's so important. And having the right leadership, as Mario mentioned, someone who builds you, someone who helps you to develop yourself, someone who helps you to self-evaluate yourself. That's what you need. That's good leadership. People that empower you, you know, and who take care, who shows you the step in the process of getting to where you want to be, and not just doing it for you. It's teaching you how to do it for yourself so you can pass it on to the next generation. I respect Mario so much, and I love the fact that he spoke about good leadership, bad leadership, disrespect, things that we don't have to accept in our life from a leader.
Thank you so much. What a blessing. What a
Quick
joy to have all of you here with hearing from Mario. We're also going to put this on the YouTube channel. Those of you who are overseas, you hear these inspirational messages in very near future. We're going to bring Mario to the stages that you live in. We have a seminar this Thursday. Should you want more information where and how, make sure you just heard from Shanta, you contact her, send her a message, collaborate. Guys, you got to surround yourself with people like Mario. You got to surround yourself with people like Elijah, this young entrepreneur I just met yesterday. We had an amazing day. I saw, man, highly intelligent guy. No support. Even families tell him, listen, go get a job. I said, hold on. We're going to work this out. Shanta's going to apply for government, grant you that feat, and you go ahead, and we're going to work it together. I wanted to thank everyone. Mario, any final thoughts, sir?
Yeah, just one, buddy. Don't worry about those that don't support you, because I'll tell you something. I got 100 no's in my warm market when I first got started. That my first client was my mom after 4 months of being in the industry. And my brother went to the house 3 weeks later and said, are you ready to have a real insurance? She made her cancel and go with his advisor at Sun Life. And so my mom was my first client and my first cancellation. And I'm going to tell you something. 20 years later, none of my family is still my client, but I'm the only one that pays my mom's bills. So don't worry about what people say and how they hate, because business is not built on the 5 people that you know. Business is built on the millions of people you connect with.
Well said. True.
Well said.
Arif, can I ask a question?
We don't have enough time this time, but Thursday, Mario will be available. Let's go on, please. The time is running out for us right now, and we all have other appointments. But Mario will be accessible. If you need to access Mario, access Shanta. Shanta will connect you with Mario. If you need
Please
help, I'll
do.
jump in. We're a community. We're a family.
Yeah, we're here to
I'm
help.
very proud to have all of you here.
See you guys.
Thank you,
Mario,
sir.
thank you.
very
Thank you
much
so
for your
much.
time.
My
Ladies and
pleasure.
gentlemen, join
Bye,
us
guys.
next time, same place.
Nice
same-
meeting you, Mario.
Have a great day.
Take care, guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Better.